Hey guys, I thought I would talk about like all the skincare that I have been playing around with, testing out, that I've hauled for you recently over the past maybe 3 to 6 months. It does take me a while to kind of like get through skincare. I really like to test it for, like around a month at least. So many of you have been asking me to kind of like follow up on a lot of things that I have mentioned, which is what we'll do today. I do have a couple disclaimers. I just want to mention that I am not a dermatologist or an esthetician. I would not even call myself, and I'm going to quote Jen Love's reviews here, I'm not even going to call myself like an ingredient junkie at all. I'm someone that has eczema prone skin. It definitely has gotten a lot better the older I have gotten. I first got it when I was in high school and it was really bad like through my 20s. It has just started to calm down. I still will get patches, as you guys have probably seen and as I've pointed out, but it is not nearly as bad as it was. And I do feel like it's getting better. It's tamer now. It's a lot tamer now. It's not quite as angry as it used to be. But I do have eczema prone skin. I do have very dry, I always hesitate in saying I have sensitive skin because my skin actually isn't very sensitive. It's just really, really moody and really picky. I have found that some ingredients, maybe it's combinations or maybe it is like depending on how the ingredient is included in a particular product. Sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't bother me. So I never really became a quote unquote ingredient junkie because I just have to try things out on my own skin. I have found that there's just really no rules in terms of how skincare works on my skin. I can only speak from my experience, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, is just how these things worked for me. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, but I always encourage like discussion down in the comments section. If I talk about something that worked really well for me and it's something that like broke you out or whatever, I would love to hear from you down below in the comment section. I'm sure everyone would love to hear from you. But if you have the time and the inclination, if you could maybe include, your skin type, how often you've been using it, maybe some products that you've been using it with, if you've had like a different experience with something of mine, or if you've had a similar experience, and maybe because I have dry skin and I'm saying it works for me, if it works for you too and you have like really oily skin, I think that is really, really awesome information as well. So if you guys want to share your experiences down below in the comments section, I would love that. I think that would be really, really great. And I think that would be really helpful to everyone else that's watching this video. So I have dry, moody, eczema prone skin. I'm 46, so I have, middle-aged, mature skin concerns. And I do have a very long history of sunbathing. I used to love to go to the beach and just slather oil on. And I used to be quite a heavy smoker. So I do feel like I'm fighting a lot of those things as well. All right, so the first two products I want to talk about, because I can't talk about one without talking about the other, is the Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Power Serum and then the Sicily Pure Bright Activating Serum. So I started using the Victoria Beckham serum before this Sicily one. So I started using this back in January, I want to say. Yeah, I started using this back in January, and I remember taking this to New York with me. Now, when I first started using this, I felt like I needed to use a lot of the product, and then after a couple days, I felt like my skin kind of got used to it a little bit, and I didn't need to use quite as much, and my skin was really kind of moisturized. And I think the first thing I noticed was my pores right here. I don't really have gigantic pores, but I do have some like visible pores right here, and I noticed that those became smaller, and I was really, really impressed with this. And one of the ingredients in here is niacinamide, and so one of the effects that this is supposed to have for your skin is like a smoothing, kind of like brightening situation. And after using it for about a month and a half straight, we're talking morning and night for a month and a half, I really didn't see that much smoothing necessarily. I have a little bit of texture right here along my jawline, and I have some hyperpigmentation here and some other kind of like splotchiness going on from all of those years of sunbathing. And I was really hoping after about a month or so that I would see a difference, and I didn't really. And I felt like the effects that I had first noticed when I was first using this serum, like the pore minimizing and like the kind of like really kind of like deep moisturization, I felt like there was a plateau. I just didn't really see it get any better. It kind of felt like my skin was getting used to it and just wasn't reacting to it anymore. And so I became a little bit disappointed in this. And right around that time, Cicely sent me this Pure Bright Activating Serum. This is one of, I think this is their newest serum. And when I first pumped this out, the first thing I want to say that I noticed is that it does have a lavender fragrance. I am not a fan of lavender. I don't actually think that it has much of a negative effect on my skin, but I do know fragrance can affect your skin. I just haven't really noticed that. I just personally don't like the scent of it. It's just not my favorite scent. It kind of like tickles my nose. It's just annoying to me. But there is lavender oil in here, so I did want to mention that. But I want to say, once I started using the serum, and it's been about a month now because I started using this right when I got back from New York, which was way in the beginning of this month, I started noticing immediately, again, it was like I started to notice that my pores were getting even smaller and that my skin was really smooth. And I thought, well, let's see, maybe, you know, my skin's gonna plateau again the same way it did with this serum. It hasn't. My skin, I feel like I'm getting like a natural, I don't know if you guys can see, but like a natural kind of like glass skin effect. Again, I have zero makeup on. I just have my, you know, skincare on, which would include this right now. And I feel like the hyperpigmentation that I have here, if you guys ever noticed it before in my videos, and I really should have taken a before picture, this was much redder and splotchier. And I feel like my skin has really, really evened out and it's really, really smooth. So many of you in my more recent videos, like this past month, have commented like, God, your skin looks so good. What are you using? Your skin looks so smooth. And the only change to like this part of my face, because I'll talk about eye products soon, but the only change that I've made to like this part of my skin has been this serum. I actually see an improvement over time, which unfortunately I did not see with this product. This product kind of came out of the gate really strong. With this product, I just continuously see like these small steps of improvement over the texture, over the hyperpigmentation that I have, and just like the smoothness. I've never dealt with like acne, I've never dealt with acne scarring, but because I have such dry skin, and for all of you guys out there with really dry skin, I'm sure you can relate, there's always that kind of like dry skinned texture. Like your skin may look smooth, but if you touch really dry skin, there's always a little bit of that, I don't know, kind of like sandpaper kind of feel to it, or it just doesn't feel as smooth as it looks sometimes. But my skin is like so smooth now, and I've been using this day and night. I will use this, let's see, I use a toner. I use my La Mer toner that I've talked about a gazillion times. Then I use my Cicely Essential Skincare Lotion, which is something that kind of like penetrates your skin and helps like other skincare products kind of like penetrate more deeply. That sinks in very quickly. And then I've been putting this serum all over my face and like down my neck. And it's just looking so much better. I mean, you can still see that I have a little bit of blotchiness there, but it used to look like almost like I had like rosacea down here. And this has just been working beautifully. This was very nice, no doubt, but this is like game changer. This is one of those things I'm going to continue to use. It is definitely a part of my daytime and my nighttime routine now. And if I continue to see this sort of like smoothing evening effect, I am definitely repurchasing this product. So those are the two serums that I have been playing around with. Again, good, best. Let me talk about eye stuff because you guys are always asking me about, you know, what kind of eye creams I like and what I've been using. I have been playing around with this new Kypris Ad Astra Nighttime Eye Cream Emulsion. So I've been putting this on just at night. Again, I want to say for about a month, ever since I got back from New York, because I got this right before I left for New York. Didn't want to bring it with me because it's like in a glass jar. So I started using it the night I came home. So I've been using this for about a month, again, just at night. And it's so moisturizing. My eyes just look like well rested. They don't look like puffy or anything like that. They just look rejuvenated. Fine lines are definitely diminished. And there is, I don't know if you guys can even see that, but there is like a very kind of like thick consistency. Actually, let me take some out here. There's like a really nice thick consistency. It's very, very creamy, but I just kind of like tap it on. And I know people say, you know, don't like rub under your eyes, but as soon as I get enough product under there, I do just start kind of like swiping it, and I will just kind of like drag it out towards my hairline. And it feels so, so nourishing under the eyes, and it hasn't like clogged any of my pores. That is definitely something that I worry about. I have very, very dry eye area. My mobile lid up here and underneath my eyes, all of it is very, very dry. I don't have like oily eyelids or whatever, but I end up getting melia if I use the wrong products. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to do with texture per se, because I have used eye creams that are on the thicker side, like this one. The eye cream that I use during the day now is my Sicily eye and lip contour cream. This is also on the thicker side. You can see it just is thick. And with both of these, I don't get any sort of like melia issues or any sort of like clogginess or congestion or anything like that around my eyes. And I'm a long time fan of Kypris products. They are 100% organic. They work with small batch farmers. They're made here in the US, and their products are so impeccable. I love their 1000 Roses oil. I use that all the time. I have that on my face right now. So this is a wonderful product from an amazing company. And I think I've mentioned to you guys before, but I'm not like the biggest eye cream user. Like if I'm in a rush, if I'm feeling lazy, eye cream is absolutely the first thing to go in my routine. I'll just put moisturizer on and be like, whatever. But ever since I started using this, I have definitely been using eye cream every night. It's just such a pleasure to put on. It just feels so lovely without feeling too heavy. I really don't like heavy things around my eyes, which is probably why I never really got into like the habit of eye cream. But this, despite its like thickness and its creaminess, it really kind of like soaks in very quickly. You don't need too much of it. And I see a difference in terms of fine lines. I don't have a lot like in terms of like crow's feet, but I have them here on top of like my cheekbone here. I have like little fine lines here, and I've seen those definitely like soften up. So that's the Kypris Ad Astra Nighttime Eye Cream Emulsion. And then I've been playing around with these two products. So this product from Chantecaille, this is their Rose de Mai Eye Lift. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Rose de Mai, M-A-I. Eye Lift. And then this is actually another kind of new product from Sicily, and this is their Black Rose Eye Contour Fluid. Now, both of them have this kind of like ceramic tip top. So it's very cooling. I can sit here. Sometimes I kind of get lost in thought and I'll just be, you know, swiping this underneath my eyes because it's cooling. I tend to suffer from like puffiness more than dark circles. Like puffiness and like slight discoloration are my eye issues. And both of these, because of the ceramic tip, definitely help with puffiness. I mean, that is a very kind of temporary solution, but I like doing this, especially like before I film or if I'm gonna, you know, go out, which I haven't done in a while, but I was doing that before I went out. I would kind of just like tap this tip underneath my eyes, and because it's so cooling, immediately I see any kind of puffiness kind of like go down a little bit. In terms of the formulas, I thought that they were going to be almost the same because they both have rose in them, you know, they're so similar, but the Sicily one is much more moisturizing. The Chantecaille product is much more tightening. When I put this on underneath my eyes, I will feel my skin kind of like tighten up. You get this little bit of like tightness and you get this little bit of lift. Even though I like the look of that, because I have dry skin and because anything that feels tight is like this trigger for me, and I just want to like moisturize that area. So while I like what this does to my eye area in terms of like appearance, I really like that it does like this little tightening. It's just not my favorite because I get really paranoid about that tight feeling. Now this Sicily one, I actually prefer more because of my dry skin. Now this doesn't have any tightening properties, not that I've seen, but it is incredibly moisturizing. So if I don't use like a daytime eye cream, which is this Sicily one, this eye and lip contour cream, let's say I was lazy, let's say I forgot, and when I sit down to film and I feel like my under eye looks a little bit or feels a little bit dry, I've been throwing this on and wow, it is such a boost of moisturization. And I do want to mention, I have mentioned this before, but I do want to mention that this does not have any fragrance because this is part of their, you know, Black Rose line, and I have their Black Rose oil and I've tried their Black Rose cream, and those both have like a rose scent and fragrance to it. This does not. I was so pleasantly surprised that this has zero fragrance to it because I was really worried, you know, to put something right close to my eye. The last thing I would want is something fragranced. So this product, if you're looking for moisture, this is the one for sure. No doubt. And if you're looking for a little bit of tightening, a little bit of lift, you may want to try this Rose Eye Lift from Chantecaille. So those are all the eye products that I've been playing around with. And I've just been so you know, happy with my eye area, I guess you could say. Okay, cleansers. Good Molecule sent me this instant cleansing balm, and I've used quite a bit of this. I want to say I've been using this straight for at least a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I do a double cleanse at night where I will remove my makeup and then I'll go in with like a cleansing balm or cleansing lotion or something. This one is okay. My absolute favorite is the Retrove Luminous Cleansing Elixir. That one comes in a pump. It's like a balm that's already been kind of like broken down already. That one is impeccable. So unfortunately, I hold all other kind of like cleansing balms against that one, and that one always kind of like wins out. And the reason is that one for me leaves like absolutely no film on my skin. It cleans everything off my skin beautifully, and it doesn't give me cloudy vision at all. It has no fragrance. Like, it's just the perfect like dry, sensitive skin like second cleanse. I love that product. So this one falls short of that one, unfortunately. I have found with these kind of cleansing balms, these ones that you kind of like break up on your skin, I always feel like there's like a little kind of something left on my skin, a little bit of a film, no matter how much I rinse it off. If I take a damp towel and actually like wipe it off of my face, I still feel a little something. And this definitely gives me that cloudy vision. I have to take my contacts out. I have to rinse my eyes out really, really well afterwards. And that really bugs me. It makes my eyes like really dry. And after I cleanse, I will go in with like a toner. And whenever I cleanse with this one and I go in with my cotton pad and toner, I will see a little bit of makeup left, even after my double cleanse, which again, I never do with the Retrove. So this one is okay, just not great. And then I have been using this Chanel Sublimage like vanilla grain exfoliator. And I exfoliate my skin, I don't know, maybe like once a week. And I've had this now for a few months, and I'm probably like halfway done with this guy. I remember when I hauled this, I kind of opened it up and I smelled it, and I was a little bit disappointed because it didn't really smell like vanilla at all. And I was like, oh well, that's fine. At least I know they didn't add any like fragrance to it. But when you actually use it, and you actually use it to exfoliate your face, and you start kind of like breaking up the little vanilla bean seeds in there, it does start to smell like vanilla. And what's great is it's not even like the synthetic kind of vanilla scent that we're all used to. It's like a real vanilla bean scent. So it's much earthier, it's much muskier, and I love it. It's so, so great. And then the exfoliator itself is like this jelly consistency with those vanilla beans in there. And I feel like that combination is really perfect because the jelly consistency allows the vanilla beans to like slip more easily. Otherwise, I feel like it may be a little bit too harsh, but the jelly allows like the bits to kind of like glide over your skin, and in a much more like subtle way. And after I use this, my skin doesn't feel like irritated afterwards. It doesn't feel dry afterwards. It really just feels like, you know, I gave my skin like a little polish up. So I've really been enjoying this product. This is really nice. My only like very minor complaint, as much as I love this packaging, I mean, it is so like luxe. I use this in the shower, so it's just kind of a pain in the butt. It's very slippery. I've dropped the cap a bunch of times, and then to have to like open it up and then to take off the protective cap and then like dig my fingers in there. It's just a little bit messy, a little bit less than ideal to use in the shower. So if you're someone that exfoliates out of the shower, you probably won't have any problem with this. But because I exfoliate in the shower, it's just kind of a pain in the butt. So that is the exfoliator I have been using and really, really loving. And then lastly, I also want to mention this Chantecaille Pure Rose Water Mist. I like mists. I'm just not in the habit of using them very often, and I do have some favorites. I love the Lila B mist. I love the Tata Harper mist. I mentioned both of those before. I love the Sicily Floral Spray Mist. That one I feel like is great if you have dry skin. That's probably the most moisturizing one out of those three. This one I think is like my new favorite. This is so refined. The mist on this, let me see if you guys can see. It's so fine, but it's not like that Glow Recipe watermelon mist where it's so fine, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm actually getting product on my skin. This one is a little bit stronger than that one. It's just as fine, but it's stronger. I love the like immediate like moisturization I feel, but then it just kind of dissipates. Like I can feel it just kind of sink into my skin, and it just kind of becomes one. I don't have to like rub it in or anything. It kind of just like soaks in all on its own, where I feel like all of the other mists that I really enjoy and that I like, they kind of sit on my skin for a little while, and I feel like sometimes I have to like maybe press it in a little bit or like work it in a little bit. This one, not at all. It's like weightless, it's effortless. It leaves my skin really moisturized, and it's in this like tin packaging, so when the spray comes out, it's very cooling on the skin. Already I feel like it's already soaked in, and it's like totally just, it's so refreshing. So this has been sitting on my vanity. I've been using it more than I generally use mists. You know, I'll use it whenever I kind of sit down and I'm about to like put makeup on. I'm like, ooh, let me put on some of this mist. So this has been a wonderful find. And yes, it does smell like roses, but it dissipates very quickly. It's a very soft fragrance. It's not strong at all. It's very, very soft, and it dissipates very quickly. So those are all of my thoughts on some of the newer skincare that I've been playing around with for the past several months. And again, if you guys have used any of these products and you've either had similar experiences to me or very, very dissimilar experiences to me, please share them down below. I think everyone would love to hear, you know, everyone's experiences and share your skin type and how you've used them and all of that great, useful information. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you're all doing well. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.